This concept of our freedom assumes that there's attachment. A fish is not free if it's out of water.
Right.
You know, a tree is not free if it's uprooted from the ground. So freedom actually is, who are you connected to? And who are you willing to serve? We're told in the Bible to choose ye this day who you will serve. So freedom is not about being unattached. It's about choosing who you will be attached to. Freedom always comes with a responsibility. And the question is who is holding or has held that responsibility for you to enjoy whatever freedom you think you have. I mean, even as we think about America and the country, the freedom that we enjoy here came at a cost. Somebody had to pay for that. We think about our salvation, of course, our freedom to be bondservants to Jesus came at a cost. Even when I think about, my teenagers and how they want freedom. Well, they want freedom, but they don't want the cost of that freedom. And so when they start telling me about what they would like to do based on their own desires and their own wishes, then they have to understand, in order for you to enjoy that freedom, here is the cost. And that's a part of the transference of the cost of the responsibility. And a part of becoming an adult is understanding that the freedom that I desire has a responsibility attached to it. The problem is we are all first children. We're children physically, we're children spiritually, and we don't fully understand the cost of our freedom until we have to pay it. And then we not only understand it, we can appreciate it. So the trick for me as a believer is understanding that God has given me freedom, and for me to show gratitude based on the understanding that I have. But the word tells us that he takes us from glory to glory. And the more we spend time with him, the more not only are we appreciative of the freedom that we've been given, but we understand the cost. That's a part of developing your relationship with the Lord and fellowshipping with him in his sufferings. Because then you go, wow, this is what my freedom cost you. This is the gift of my spiritual freedom, and this is what you've given to me. And that's why we can grow more and more appreciative all the time.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I think when people have this concept of freedom, they think they're doing something unique. So it's like, you know what, I'm going to live my best life. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. But you look like someone else who's saying the same thing.
Right. That's right.
And so when we understand that there is a pattern of the flesh and there's a pattern of the spirit. And so the freedom in the flesh, it looks the same. It's a pattern, right? You're going out drinking, you're drunk, or you're like, there are all kinds of things, right? That there's a pattern of the spirit, and we have to come back to the truth of who we are first. And we are first spiritual beings. And it's to understand what is the purpose of this fleshly nature, right? What is the purpose of this body? And I think about the scriptures when Jesus would say things, or the Lord would say things like, your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. So the body is the vehicle, not the driver. And we have to now understand, like, if I'm given into the pattern of the flesh, that's really bondage. Because I think that's the biggest contradiction in life, where it's like, how are we set free to be servants? And it's to recognize, no, we're being set free to be servants to our true nature, not being servants. And it's like, wait, why am I freedom and slavery and all these things? But then you look at it, because I have counseling sessions with people and they're saying the same thing, right? They're like, well, if Christ set us free, then I should do whatever I want. I say, well, he set you free from your fleshly nature so you can be who you are. And for you to be who you are, you have to surrender to the spirit that knows who you are. And so we have to really go back to who are we at our core, and we are first spiritual beings.
Absolutely. That's right. I love the way Jesus puts this in Matthew when he's talking about how do we actually follow him? How do we get to know Jesus in a way that fills his heart? And in chapter 16, in verse 24, it says, Jesus said to his disciples, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. And it's that thing of, when we think about what our rights are, our right is to take everything that we are and deny ourselves so that we can pick up our cross, which basically, we think of that in a very watered down way now. But what it actually is what stigma do I have to carry to belong to Jesus? I will do that with my whole heart. What misunderstanding do I have to be looked at from other people, especially in a world where truth is here, there, and everywhere? Those who stand for truth look crazy, look old-fashioned, or whatever it is. And Jesus says, I love that. I love that. That's exactly the type of person that I'm looking for. And he talks a little bit further about people being known by their fruit. So this is how you know it's not the way people talk or how enlightened they are or any of that stuff. It's, does their life look like a life marked by the Spirit of God? Is it bearing fruit that can only come from connection with the Spirit of God? And if it is, those who do the will of my Father, those are the ones who are truly free. And those are the ones who are known as sons and daughters.
This concept of our freedom assumes that there's attachment. A fish is not free if it's out of water.
Right.
You know, a tree is not free if it's uprooted from the ground. So freedom actually is, who are you connected to? And who are you willing to serve? We're told in the Bible to choose ye this day who you will serve. So freedom is not about being unattached. It's about choosing who you will be attached to. And in that attachment, that's where the fruit then comes.
I am the
And so,
vine.
yeah. So you're none of us actually are free. We're just free to choose who we're going to be attached to.
That's great.
And then we get to see, based on that choice, what the fruit is that comes out of our life. And so to walk around and say, I want to be free, and that meaning being unattached, and I do whatever I want to do. Being unattached is actually what leads to death.
Yeah, it really
So
does.
you're never really free unless you choose to be attached. And the only true source of real attachment is Jesus Christ.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe today and you'll never miss a new upload.
And don't forget to check out our Better Together shop. Thanks for being a part of our community.